Okay, so we're going to be trying to make a new tape. This is one that's going to have to get around to those that are really having a hard time understanding because it's kind of important that I get through to you. There is no reward for me except your eternal soul that you join us. I sit in an awful place in this world so that I can come to you and explain this to you. You know, the whole world, scientists are pretty convinced we're in a simulation. We never knew whose simulator it was, but we've known that through science that everything around us isn't really real. It's like it's a holodeck. It really is. Turns out those atoms, what we call atoms, there's so much more to them than what we think we know about them. They're really more like a pixel. You know what a pixel is on a TV show on your TV? Yeah. Or in a computer game? Yeah. It's more what we are. It's a pixel. One atom is a pixel. Now, if you take that atom and you split it, which we know we can do, but we can't see what really goes on. All we're doing is splitting the damn thing. But here's what you really are doing. It's what I've been shown and told. Is there's an inner force and an outer force that's inside that atom. See, there's those hidden dimensions in string theory. We never quite understood them because we can't. We can't really put our finger on it. It's too small. See, in order for us to see, you need electrons to bounce off your eyeballs. And what about the stuff that's smaller than that? Yeah, that's what this stuff is. Okay. Well, anyway, but if you get a whole bunch of it, you separate a bunch of atoms, you'll get a ball of black hole matter, which is a whole bunch of stuff just pulling every damn thing around it into it, sucking everything into it, even light gets sucked into that. And the outgoing force, it goes out to outside of our galaxy where there is no matter or no dark matter. And it's what's filling the gaps between galaxies. We see galaxies pushing each other away, but we can't understand why they're doing that. It's because every sun in every galaxy is splitting atoms, and they're making black holes on the inside, and on the outside they're filling that gap between the galaxies. So it appears that we're all being pushed away from each other, but it's really just filling up with the outgoing force. But every atom has those two forces in them, and when you put them together, it's just a pixel that exists in dark matter. See, we've never really understood dark matter either. But if we think of it more of like a board game, and that's the board that you play on, okay? That's what dark matter is. Now, if there's a bunch of it that has been split, and it's stuck right there where it's stuck, guess what? You got a black hole. That's a dead spot on the board game. Yeah, you don't go near that. Trust me. It's the end of you if you do. We know that one too. We know for a fact that's a dead spot on the board game. And we also, well, we don't really know it, but we will. Nothing exists outside of our galaxies because it can't. If we go outside of our galaxy, we will just dissipate, and there's nothing to hold our atoms together. That's where the dark matter comes, and that's where we're at. It's the holodeck. Let's just call it. It's the holodeck's parameters. You get in there and you can do your holodeck. Outside of that, not so much. So anyway, we know that we've been on a holodeck, and I'm here to tell you it's God's holodeck. It's always been His holodeck, and He's got another one too. That eternal life. That one's much more simpler, and a whole different set of physics too. See, nothing falls apart up there. Nothing uh, is time based like it is here. See, everything here is time based. It's on a timer. Everything here is literally on a timer to dissolve and fall apart. Yeah, it's the way it is over here. Over there, you can make a plant. You can't grow it, but once you make that plant and you got it there, it stays forever. Never falls apart. Never gets older, larger, smaller, anything. Never has a disease. Nothing. Same thing with the avatar you're running around in up there on the top side. It's a forever thing. It's a perfect one though. It's not like these meat sacks that we're running around down in here in. And these are just vessels. They're really a accumulation of your mother and father's DNA. It's a random roll of the dice. You get what you get. And when you take your first breath, that's when God attaches a soul to it. Not until then. There is no living being until it takes its first breath. So, on the whole abortion issue, yeah, you're not killing one of God's babies when you abort them. Tell you the truth, sometimes that's a better call because the mother is not ready or the circumstances are not right. We don't want to bring kids into the world that aren't going to have the best chance ever. And so abortion is definitely an acceptable answer. And sometimes the best answer. But not always. If it's about being lazy or you were doing the wrong thing to start with, yeah, maybe keeping that baby is the answer. And you'll totally regret not having it. So, it's a judgment call on each one of us that is in that circumstance, the women and the men that are involved with the decision. It's important. It's about everything you do here. As you walk through what we call boot camp, because that's what this is. Everybody wondered why it was so awful. If God is real, why is this such an awful place? Tell you the truth, it's not that damn awful. But it is a simulator to test us to see if we can muster it up and own it and get through it. It's a challenge. And it's been an awful challenge for many and many years. See, we don't even realize how awful the challenge was because we have modern technology that makes it so much better. Oh, yeah. I mean, those guys back in the old days, they only had 3 channels on TV. Yeah, dude. Yeah, 3 channels. Yeah, actually, that was us. Yeah, me and the younger generation. Yeah, the old guys, us old schoolers. We only had 3 channels. But a lot of people didn't even have channels. A lot of people didn't even have radio. Yeah, that's all new stuff. Yeah, everything before then was pretty much word of mouth. Yeah, if you heard music, it's because there was somebody singing or playing an instrument. Yeah, it wasn't because it was broadcasted. Yeah. See, we've come to this technology level at the right time for this purpose. That's why it's one of those things where we need to get educated to understand this second coming. That is what I'm bringing to you. And we needed to understand simulation. And we do now. We do understand that it's a holodeck. Couldn't have told that to somebody in 1900, 1800, 1700. No. It would have went right in one ear and out the other. Yeah, it would have been like, yeah. It's still a hard time for some of you guys. I know. I see some of you still struggling with it, and it's the truth. You got to grab onto this one because we've tested it and tested it and tested it in so many ways, in so many different areas. We're in a simulator. We're in God's simulator. And I got more stuff to give you. But I'll come back to you on that one. We're going to take it in bits, but the main one is this one, and that we're in a simulator, and we need to get everyone to understand simulator. All right, because that's what we're in. We're running around in a vessel that when we die, that vessel stays in the simulation. Doesn't leave. It's not going to rise up out of that ground. Nope. 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 That's not how it works. But I'll be back to tell you how it does. This is important, and like I said, this is a new video that we're going to make, that we're going to get out to all you guys that are still having a hard time, and we'll get it in other languages and what have you. But it's just a little bit more in depth as to what's really going on, and understanding the simulator is an important part, and that's the nuts and bolts of our simulator.